Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Zeke's Miata channel. Yes, I know it's been a really long time since I've done a video. It's been 45 days since the last one I posted, and in that time we've gained 117 subscribers and passed 700. I'm really happy how things are going. The channel's growing really well. Things are going great, and I know there's going to be some people out there that are wondering, like, the hell is going on with my beard? Every time I do a video it's different. And well, the way I'd put it is, sometimes you go to set out to do something and you screw it up and you have to start over. And that's the theme of today's video. So the story I'm about to tell happened on April 9th, 2022. Hey everybody, Zeke again. Welcome back. Today we're cruising down Chuckanut Drive in Bellingham, Washington. I was hosting a drive for the club. Typical day, started off pretty normal. The weather was kind of, but it's kind of some rain and some sun and just kind of a mix of everything. So we started off the drive near Burlington, Washington, and it included some of the greatest hits of my drives, like the drive around Lake Whatcom. Of course, my favorite, Mosquito Lake Road. And about the time we got on Mosquito Lake Road, it started pouring. And I had my top down up until then. I saw the rain clouds up ahead, and when we stopped for a break, I was like, nope, I'm putting my top up, and I'm glad I did. But then it stopped just a few minutes later, but you could still see these ominous clouds off in the distance. Sure enough, a few minutes later it started pouring again. You can't see it in the video here, but it was cold enough that there was a mix of snow along with it. You'll also note in one point of this video you can see the downpour is concentrated just above the highway, and to either side of it appears to be dry. You can even see blue sky. This is how the weather went for the rest of the day. We pulled into our next stop at Whatcom Falls Park, and the rain had led up to where it was just kind of sprinkling a little bit. And after the break, we headed around the other side of Lake Whatcom, and we made our way towards one of Washington's most famous scenic drives, Chuckanut Drive. Then it was time for some lunch. And we stopped at Bob's Burgers and Brew in Burlington. Say that 10 times fast. But everyone who knows me knows that when the drive is done, it's not done, because I always add stuff on the end because I just don't like driving boring roads on the way home. So this was no exception. And after lunch, we set off for my after drive. So a few of us set out for my after drive. This time we headed towards Lake Kavanaugh, into Arlington, and down into Monroe. Then from Monroe we continued south on Highway 203, and I turned onto Tuwalco Road with a plan of heading towards High Bridge Road to to wrap up my drive and head home. And right after we turned on that road, the rain started to pick up, and that is when it happened. And I can tell you, as a Miata driver, it was like staring death right in the face. Coming around a sharp corner on a farm road, I hit a slick spot, lost traction, slid into the opposite lane, and found myself face to face with the business end of a 2008 Cadillac Escalade. Then there was a loud bang and a powerful impact, the airbag going off in my face, followed by a brief moment of silence, and then another impact. My friend behind me hit the same slick spot and slid into my rear bumper. But then came the relief of realizing that not only was I alive, but I was relatively unharmed. But my Miata, that was another story. While we were waiting for the tow truck to arrive, I pulled out my GoPro and took some video of the aftermath. The nose of the Escalade had impacted my car right around the inside of the driver's side headlight, and it plowed through my car just like a bulldozer. Pretty much everything back to the wheel well had been destroyed. The Escalade took a lot more damage than I expected, and the airbags did deploy, but the occupants of that vehicle were not harmed at all. I thought it was really interesting that the wheel face of the Escalade had been completely broken off. Here you can start to see the carnage of the impact on my car. Soon the first tow truck arrived and they hauled off the Escalade, and here you can clearly see just how violent this impact was. The suspension was just chewed up, and the fender and the inner portion had been ripped open like a beer can. You can see the shock was ripped completely off the mount, and the spring is bent like a piece of macaroni. The wiring was torn out, the fuse box was cracked in half, the frame was damaged. And then a second tow truck arrived and they loaded up my car. I didn't even need to guess what was going to happen to this car, so I cleared out all of my belongings, and I knew that I had just driven it for the last time. 6 months to the day, and about 3,000 miles after I first picked it up in Walla Walla. And as they finished clearing the scene, the rain was just starting up again, and I watched as the tow truck took my car off to its final fate. And so I dedicate this video to a great car that was taken away far too soon. Here is a montage of some of the fun that I had while it was mine.
To walk 1,000 good miles from our hometown, leaving everyone behind as their slow fires die down. Once we left, we found it harder and harder to slow down. we found it harder and harder to slow down. Yeah, we set out to walk 1,000 good miles from our hometown, leaving everyone behind as their slow fires die down. Once we left, we found it harder and harder to slow down, 'cause we set out to walk 1,000 good miles from our home.